Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Tuesday. Eric Franke in for Susan Simon, who's off today, but she'll be on a little later because we went to Donna Weihhoffen's house yesterday.
She's a big deal during these weeks.
I've
used her online recipes on Channel 3000 for years.
You love the potatoes, the mashed potatoes.
The mashed potatoes are incredible. So if you're looking for a great mashed potato recipe, Donna's got it at Channel 3000.
And we had turkey dinner here today.
Yeah,
I'm pretty much
you gotta have at least 2 a week, right?
Apparently so.
The leftovers for the weekend.
So that's all coming up. But first, here's what's making news on this Tuesday. Some practical advice to make sure your holiday cooking doesn't result in your home going up in flames.
That's some important safety reminders there. The president says even though the Saudi crown prince could be behind the murder of a journalist, America will remain a good partner with Saudi Arabia.
And an unusual donation to Goodwill means many families will now be able to afford a Christmas tree. That's great news. Let's take a look outside. The sun was out today, kind of nice.
Yeah, a lot of people are getting ready to hit the roads. So we want some good weather.
And this is the only place you're going to see snow. Over at Elver Park, making snow for the snow hill.
Maybe some kids can hit the sledding.
I didn't forget it again. I put this weather words in.
Mark forgot again.
No.
I saw that in there and I said, are the weather words really Mark forgot again? They said, no, they put that in there in case Mark forgets
and
again.
I put it in.
Well, you didn't hit save.
Refrigerator temperatures were the weather words.
Refrigerator temperatures.
Right?
Great, you just save the turkey outside.
Dave Caulfield. Off to a great start here.
Yeah, and I'm telling you guys, after that Thanksgiving meal a couple of hours ago, I was feeling really, really groggy. Didn't think that I'd even make it to the 4, but I stepped outside and these chilly temperatures woke me right up pretty quickly. So even with the sunshine, a little bit chilly today, and Doppler track showing a few flurries actually moving closer and closer to Madison. I'm not seeing anything outside, and actually in downtown Madison, we're not seeing anything in that respect. However, a few snowflakes can't be rolled out over the next few hours, shouldn't cause any problems, but we are seeing that sunshine in Madison right now. 29 degrees, west-southwest wind, a little bit gusty, sustained at 10 miles per hour. It does feel a little bit closer to 20 degrees. 29 in Madison, 32 in Janesville. The rest of us stuck in the upper 20s. Wind speeds, as I mentioned, a little bit gusty out of the south and west at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, making it feel like the teens across southwestern Wisconsin. A nice-looking sunset taking shape in Madison on the WISC-TV sky cam. Your forecast first, temperatures are in the 20s, kind of staying pretty steady with some clouds moving in later on this evening. So let's take a look at your first alert traffic update. I want to make you aware of an accident near Janesville. This is a picture of the interstate close to Wisconsin 11, and we did see some emergency vehicles there just a few minutes ago. So traffic is backed up. One lane is closed there on the interstate, and you're seeing a lot of yellow and red across portions of Rock County. So keep that in mind going through Janesville. That's northbound where the accident is, but also you're going to get some rubberneckers. No accidents or incidents to report across Dayton County. Traffic generally heading out at the posted speeds, but we are also seeing those delays on the Beltline, some yellows and reds popping up there, but things looking pretty good near the interstate. Starting to see some brake lights closer to Stoughton Road. Your drive times: Verona Road eastbound to John Nolan, that's 9 minutes, a little bit slow, average speed of around 30 miles per hour. And some major routes in and around Madison, the Beltline to Janesville, a little bit on the slow side, but still not too bad. Coming in at a half hour with an average speed of around 55 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic update. We'll talk holiday forecast updates in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All important holiday travel.
Yes.
All right, Dave, thanks. See you in a few minutes.
First at 4, two cooking fires in just 4 days has the Madison Fire Department sending out a warning ahead of the holiday season.
Their message: stand by your pan and close your doors. Amanda Quintana is here with more on the chief's message.
Yes, well, Chief Stephen Davis took me inside the apartment where that first fire happened last Wednesday. In a matter of 3 to 5 minutes, the kitchen, living room, and bedroom were all up in flames. He says it flashed over. That's when everything ignites all at once. There's a few reasons why this apartment caught fire so fast. The woman who was cooking oil on the stove left the kitchen, and that's when the fire started. When she came back, she tried to put it out with water, but that water fuels grease or oil fires. And when she opened a nearby door to let air in, that gave the fire what it needed to spread.
The cooking oil's burning, and so that's a pretty significant fuel load, and it creates quite a bit of heat. So within a matter of probably less than a minute, the cabinets were on fire. And probably within 2 to 3 minutes, the fire was extending out into the living area.
11 people were displaced because of this fire. Then 4 days later, a similar cooking fire on the southwest side left another 8 people without a home. In both of these fires, doors were left open, so the flames were able to spread to other rooms and even neighboring apartments. Chief Davis says closing your doors is critical to stopping this kind of large damage. You should close all your doors before you go to sleep. So if there's any kind of accidental fire in any of those rooms, the door is shut, so they're not getting through.
Yeah, and if you're cooking, keep an eye on things.
Keep an eye on it. Stay in the kitchen.
All right, Amanda, thank you. Good advice.
Yeah, thanks, Amanda. Outgoing Attorney General Brad Schimmel has a new job. Governor Walker has appointed him a position as a Waukesha County judge. The governor says Schimmel has shown a commitment to the rule of law and will faithfully serve the state as a judge. Schimmel is familiar with Waukesha County, having served as the district attorney there.
President Trump says he is standing by Saudi Arabia even while acknowledging that the Crown Prince could, quote, very well be behind the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, a U.S. resident. Mo Olengi has the latest from the White House.
President Trump says he is not willing to jeopardize the U.S. relationship with Saudi Arabia over the murder of Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi.
It's a very complex situation. It's a shame, but it is what it is.
In a statement, the president wrote, "It could very well be that the Crown Prince had knowledge of this tragic event. Maybe he did, and maybe he didn't. But the United States intends to remain a steadfast partner of Saudi Arabia." CBS News has confirmed that the CIA has intelligence indicating that not only did the Crown Prince have knowledge of the killing at the Saudi consulate in Turkey, he ordered it. The Crown Prince has denied involvement. President Trump said he was standing with Saudi Arabia because of the kingdom's agreement to spend and invest $450 billion in the United States and Saudi Arabia's help in the U.S. fight against Iran.
It's all about America first. We're not going to give up hundreds of billions of dollars in orders and let Russia, China, and everybody else have them. Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein expressed shock at the president's decision not to punish Mohammed bin Salman, and Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff called for a suspension of arms sales to the kingdom. The Trump administration has imposed sanctions against 17 Saudis known to have been involved in the murder. Mo Olengi, WISC News 3.
And President Trump says he knows some members of Congress won't be satisfied with his response, and he will consider whatever ideas are presented to him, but only if they're consistent with America's interests.
A senior Democrat on the Senate Judiciary Committee is calling for an investigation of Ivanka Trump's email use. Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut says the investigation should be done by the Office of Government Ethics or by Congress. The president's daughter and senior advisor used a personal email account to send hundreds of emails about government business last year. President Trump, of course, frequently criticized Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server when she was Secretary of State, but he says Ivanka's email use was very different from Mrs. Clinton's.
There was no deleting like Hillary Clinton did. There was no servers in the basement like Hillary Clinton had. You're talking about a whole different, you're talking about all fake news.
Some of Mrs. Clinton's emails were later deemed classified. It is unknown if that was the case for any of Ivanka Trump's emails.
Workers at the Chicago hospital where a gunman fatally shot his ex-fiancée and 2 others had gone through their first active shooting drill only a few weeks ago. The chief medical officer at Mercer Hospital says the drill almost certainly helped save lives Monday when the gunman opened fire inside the hospital. Witnesses say the suspect, Juan Lopez, argued with his ex-fiancée in the parking lot before shooting her multiple times. He then ran inside where he killed a police officer and pharmacist Dana Less.
She had a life. She lived her life every day. She never stopped. She ran marathons, and I think we can all learn from her. Make the most of your life.
The suspect was killed in the shootout. It's unclear if he shot himself or if police killed him. Well, many people begin their holiday shopping and decorating later this week.
And there's one store some should consider if they're looking for a Christmas tree. Charlotte DeLeste joins us in the news center to tell us more. Charlotte?
Eric and Mark, typically you would not think about going to Goodwill for a real tree, but now you can. As many people know, Goodwill relies on donations, and sometimes they get unusual things. Well, a couple in Waushara County purchased land for a retirement home. That land included a Christmas tree farm, but they don't want to be in the Christmas tree business, so they donated a semi-truckload of trees to Goodwill.
This is just really the kind of thing that warms our hearts at the holidays, to have this family say, well, you know, we're not going to use this, but we know where somebody can make good use of it.
Each tree will cost $19.99 and can be found at 6 different Goodwill locations: Easttown, Monona, Northside, Portage, Stoughton, and Verona Road. Each location will have about 20 to 25 trees. And you should know you'll be doing something good by buying a tree or anything at Goodwill. 81% of what is made from retail business goes back into mission services such as supported employment and residential living for people with disabilities. Eric and Mark?
A great way to help out. We'll see those trees on the tops of cars.
Exactly.
Very
1999, great deal. Good for those folks.
It really is. Charlotte, thank you. President Trump and the First Lady continued a long-standing White House tradition, the National Thanksgiving Turkey Pardoning in the White House Rose Garden. This year's turkey, named Peas, won the presidential pardon against his alternate, Carrots, by what the president called a fair vote conducted on the White House website. Both turkeys will go on to live out their days at Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, Virginia. But President Trump suggested to both Peas and Carrots there may be legal trouble ahead.
Even though Peas and Carrots have received a presidential pardon, I have warned them that House Democrats are likely to issue them both subpoenas.
Trump said the tradition started with President Lincoln when his son Tad begged him not to kill their Christmas turkey, also documented by the White House Historical Association. The formalities of actually pardoning turkeys was formalized by President George H.W. Bush.
So Peas and Carrots will live to see another day.
Yeah, they got the good life now.
Still to come before you hit the Black Friday toy sales, you want to stay tuned.
A consumer watchdog group is out with its annual list of dangerous toys. We'll have that for you when Live at 4 continues.
Welcome back. The holiday gift-giving season just around the corner.
And today, a consumer watchdog group is out with its annual warning about dangerous toys. The U.S. Public Interest Research Group tested 40 potentially hazardous toys and declared 15 of them dangerous to children. The group says potentially unsafe toys are still widely available, including those with high concentrations of chemicals and potential choking hazards. Researchers found 6 popular brands of slime contain high amounts of the chemical boron.
If you ingest it in moderate amounts, can cause vomiting, nausea, and long-term reproductive health issues.
In order for a child to consume 45 grams of boron, they have to eat like 2.5 pounds of slime.
Researchers found 87% of latex balloons sold on Amazon don't have legally required warnings about choking hazards, and the group also urged parents to avoid buying tiny rare earth magnets.
Good advice. A big sell-off on Wall Street turns the markets negative for the year. Don't look at your 401k. The Dow Industrials plunged 551 points, closing at 24,465. The NASDAQ Composite Index gave up 119. The S&P 500, now in correction territory, lost another 48. Well, since a tragic crash in Indiana last month killing siblings, there's been a greater focus on drivers knowing the rules of the road when it comes to school buses.
And drivers failing to stop for a school bus puts the lives of children in jeopardy in Wisconsin every day. Today, the perspective of school bus drivers whose only goal is to keep our children safe.
The way I see it is we have the world's most precious cargo on board.
Portage area school bus driver Nate Murray takes his job very seriously.
It's a responsibility not to be taken lightly.
With many of his routes on rural roads in Columbia County and in the city of Portage, some include highways.
Highway 16's a drag strip, and so is Highway 22.
It was a crash last month in central Indiana that brought school bus safety into the spotlight once again. 3 siblings killed instantly when a driver drove around a school bus with its lights flashing, its stop arm extended.
My heart just broke. I was angry that that this is even happening.
Kay Pear is the operations manager for Right Way Transportation at its Portage Poinet terminal. It was that crash in Indiana and a few others that led her to reach out to News 3 to educate drivers about an issue she sees all the time.
You see a big yellow school bus and it has lights flashing, or you just see a big yellow school bus, you need to wake up. You need to really pay attention.
State law in 2016 required all Wisconsin school buses newer than 2005 model years to have flashing amber lights, designed to tell drivers that a bus is preparing to stop, but some drivers interpret it much differently.
The distraction and they're in a hurry. And I believe that when they see the yellow lights on a school bus, they don't realize that those yellow lights mean you need to stop.
People see the yellow. Yellow means go faster, right? Not stop. My yellow means I'm gonna stop.
Once the bus stops and those red lights are on, failure to stop could result in fines of up to $300. And while it doesn't apply to vehicles driving in the opposite direction on a divided highway, it does apply if no barrier is present on any multi-lane street or highway. The DMV says there were more than 1,000 such violations in Wisconsin in 2017.
They just zip on right through. And then also when you have the red lights on before you let the kids out and you're checking your mirrors, they're just not paying attention.
Enforcement can be difficult, but getting easier. While most buses have onboard cameras, more and more of the newer ones also have dash cams, which means you may be caught on video if you don't stop. With sometimes 70 or more kids packed in behind them on a bus, school bus drivers have enough to worry about without trying to get the license plate of a violator.
I'm upset they ran my stop sign, but my first priority is not them and their license plate. It's making sure little Johnny or little Susie is going to make it home safe.
Something that becomes increasingly more difficult if Wisconsin drivers don't get the message to stop for school buses.
I have never had a child get hit. If that ever does happen, I personally think I will hang up my hat. I don't know if I can recover.
The emergency services always tell us it's not if it happens, it's when.
We never want that to happen in Wisconsin. Just because a stop arm, by the way, is not extended. It doesn't mean you shouldn't stop, either from the back of the bus or coming in the opposite direction. You need to stop 20 feet or more when those flashing red lights come on, and you cannot go until the lights are off and then the bus is once again in motion.
Yeah, in the city of Madison, I understand failure to stop for a school bus or improper passing, a $250 fine. You just got to be careful. You know, those kids are running around, they're all excited.
If you see one, just stop.
It's not going to be that long.
Right. You won't have to wait too long. Still to come at 4, remember hobby horses?
Well, they're enjoying a renewed popularity in a very strange way.
Remember these from childhood? I'm Laura Podesta in Augusta, New Jersey, and I'll tell you how riding a hobby horse has become a new sport.
Take a look at this. You never know who's going to crash your live shot. An opossum showed up during WCBS reporter Jenna DeAngelis' live shot this morning. She wasn't out in the country. She was on a bridge over a highway in Union City, New Jersey. Apparently, the possum was getting a jump start on his holiday travel. We had a Jersey boy sitting here.
Yeah,
you see a lot of possums in Jersey?
I don't know. Union City's right across the Lincoln Tunnel from New York.
Yeah,
I don't know a lot about New Jersey politics anymore, but I think that's the mayor, actually.
Actually, he's the mayor.
Yeah,
well,
at least finished in third.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's Tuesday, November 20th.
Yeah, it's Name Your PC Day, because why not? My laptop is named Ace because I have an Acer, so no work was done there.
Hal? Hal would be a good one.
I have no name for any computer.
It's National Absurdity Day.
And it's also National Peanut Butter Fudge Day, which we have a sample here, but nobody wants to eat anything here because we had a company-wide Thanksgiving dinner today, which we greatly appreciate, but we're all now 6 pounds heavier and we're all sleepy during the
That's right, the
4 o'clock show.
tryptophan.
Kicking in. This dates actually to the 1800s when people used the word fudge to mean cheat or mess up. Remember Christmas Story?
Yeah.
Fudge. Accidentally fudged a batch of caramel he was trying to make inventing this stuff, I guess, back in the day.
That's where the name comes from.
There you go.
Fudge.
Yeah.
You have some a little later.
I mean, like in 3 hours, maybe. I can barely look at it right now.
Yeah, I can't either.
Yeah.
We're all going to be taking in a lot of calories and trying to get to Grandma's house and whatnot this week.
Trying to stay warm with all the food that we're going to eat, because it's still going to be a bit of a cold turkey day across some of southern Wisconsin, but we'll talk about slightly warmer temperatures and a bit more active weather on the way in your First Alert forecast in just a few minutes. Welcome back to Live at 4. Check out this time lapse of a thick blanket of fog covering Seattle this morning. The National Weather Service issued a dense fog advisory for the area. The fog actually forced Seattle-Tacoma Airport to delay dozens of flights ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday, the last thing that folks out there need. Airport officials warned travelers to be patient. That fog started to clear around noon, so it was definitely around for a while. No fog for us across portions of southern Wisconsin, although at this time of year, if you get a warm enough air mass over that snow, you can definitely get some thick fog to form very, very quickly. However, we've been dealing with some very chilly temperatures. In fact, we have had now 2 straight weeks of below normal temperatures in Madison, and that is the longest stretch of below normal temperatures since last December into early January of this year. You remember that time? Really, really cold temperatures. I remember I was moving to Madison at the time. That was not the most fun weather to move into an apartment in, but all a distant memory at this point. Already about 7 degrees below where we should be for this time of year. The almanac for today in Madison, check out that shot of the Edgewater Skycam. 30 degrees, normal at 42, so about 12 degrees below normal in the high temperature department. Doppler track showing a few flurries trying to make their way into southern Wisconsin as this system passes to the north of us. Really shouldn't cause major problems, but the clouds will be on the increase and maybe a few snowflakes over the next couple of hours. So just be aware and be ready for that. Temperatures right now in the upper 20s in Madison, low 30s in Janesville, 29 in Watertown, 28 in Mineral Point, and 29 in Boscoville. So really hanging out in the upper 20s. But with that wind chill, it is out of the south, so that should be blowing in some warmer air, usually, but it still feels like the teens across much of southern Wisconsin. Now, as far as holiday travel goes, we can usually expect some delays in some portion of the country this time of year. By the time we get to early tomorrow, maybe some of us across the Northeast having a little bit of some travel troubles, and also across the West Coast as our next storm system makes its way into the United States just in time for Turkey Day. I think as we head into Thanksgiving Day across portions of the Great Plains and into the West Coast as well, the Northwest Coast, we are looking at those delays really being centralized there. Hopefully lots of pumpkin pie over the next couple of days. Happy Thanksgiving. For Thanksgiving Day in Madison, I think temperatures will max out in the mid-30s with partly sunny skies, becoming breezy and not quite as cold, but temperatures do warm up a little bit for Black Friday and into Small Business Saturday. However, with that warm up comes a little bit more active weather. Our Thanksgiving statistics usually were around the upper 30s and low 40s. For low temperatures, we're in the mid-20s. Our extremes, we have been as warm as the 60s. That would be nice, but also we've been as cold as -5. And actually, just a couple years ago, we had our wettest Thanksgiving, but I think we'll stay dry for this Thanksgiving. Now, Black Friday could be a little bit of a different story for some of us. A chilly start with temps in the 30s. Then we're in the 40s, windy and milder by noon. And some scattered showers could come our way later on Black Friday. So try and get that shopping done early. Obviously, that's the appeal of Black Friday for some of us. For tonight, we're in the 20s, mostly cloudy and breezy, a few flurries, maybe even some freezing drizzle, especially north of Madison. For tomorrow, we'll be in the low 30s, partly sunny and cold for the day before Thanksgiving. Future track showing things staying pretty quiet across the area. Again, maybe a few flurries can't be ruled out as we head into later portions of tonight. But for Wednesday, we have some clouds, temperatures staying in the 30s, a little bit warmer as we head into Thursday, but those clouds still kind of staying put with partly sunny skies and temperatures in the mid 30s. We're in the 40s as we head into Black Friday, and Saturday we're also going to be in the 40s, but you could see the shower chances really starting to go up during that time. Then as we head into next week, a couple more snowflakes could come our way. Temperatures head back into the 30s, and we're pushing into the upper 20s for highs by next week. Next Tuesday and Wednesday, at least we'll be a little bit quieter, but those chilly temperatures returning. It really does look like this month overall going to be a lot cooler than we expected.
Did you get some new graphics for Christmas? Early graphics? That was fancy.
Yeah. We got to get all those holiday graphics in.
You got to use them all.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving's just a couple days. I got 30 graphics to use in 2 days.
That's right. Thanks, Dave.
A new sport that has made its way from Europe to the U.S. might make you just a little nostalgic.
Equestrian leaps, leaping over jumps, trots through courses, and they take part in dressage competitions, but they're not riding a real horse.
CBS News' Laura Podesta gave hobby horsing a try in Augusta, New Jersey.
This new sport is turning traditional horse riding on its head and horn. Second jump. Watch as 13-year-old Kaya Ortega leaps, trots, and runs through a course, all while riding a horse on a stick.
You kind of look stupid doing it, so it's kind of just laughing at yourself.
But it's no joke. Hobby horsing first took off in Finland, where over 10,000 young people participate for prizes. Here in the U.S., hundreds compete throughout the year at North Carolina's Tryon International Equestrian Center.
Woohoo! Great job!
And in New Jersey, money from this smaller event will go to a local horse rescue charity. Riders are judged on their speed, style, and the appearance of their horse. Organizer Marian Georgiev told us the best riders use their body to mimic the real animal. They must keep the stick between their legs at all times.
You can't be embarrassed to enjoy it. You have to just not worry about how you look, I think.
And most of these participants are real equestrians. They tell us hobby horsing helps them improve their skills back at the barn.
Does it make you realize, wow, the horse is actually doing a lot of work?
Yeah, definitely.
and this is tiring me out.
Yeah.
Kaya says her spirit of competition is growing, not only to win competitions with her real horse, but her hobby horse too. Laura Podesta for WISC News 3.
Well, that's bizarre. Yeah. Hobby horse competitions are similar to horse shows with different fence heights and jumpers and varying test levels for dressage.
Dressage.
riding.
I'm glad you said dressage. I wouldn't have known.
Dressing?
I
Yeah.
said dressage or something like that.
Dressage.
That was real, though, right?
Apparently,
They're
yeah,
really
it's a
doing
thing.
it.
All right, coming up, gearing up for Black Friday bargains.
My kids are getting hobby horse sticks. Consumer Reports says they may not always be where you think they are, those deals. We'll have more when Live at 4 continues.
Spectacular sunset.
Something?
Yeah,
That
that
is
is
stunning.
Beautiful. Sky cam and the Edgewater. Beautiful shot. Well, hard to believe the holidays are on the horizon, and again, that is, which means so too are the Black Friday price drops and Cyber Monday specials.
But do sales like these truly offer the discounts they suggest? Our Leah Linscheid in Consumer Reports tells us how to really get the best deals.
Rachel Barrer and her mom, Amy, love the thrill of a Black Friday bargain.
I feel like I'm getting better deals, so I'm going to buy more than I usually would if I went and was getting no deals.
That feeling is exactly what retailers are banking on, according to the financial team at Consumer Reports.
Just the idea that you're getting a bargain can affect a center of your brain that can cloud your reasoning and make you open your wallet. Of course, retailers know this and play on it by offering deals that really might not be such good bargains.
So how do shoppers know when they're getting a real steal?
Go in with your eyes wide open and with a healthy sense of skepticism, and take advantage of tools that exist, many apps that will help you track prices so you know when a deal is really a bargain.
Before you buy, browser extensions like the Camelizer, Invisible Hand, or Price Blink scour the web for the best deals. Price alerts like Camel Camel Camel, Price Tracker, Shop It To Me, and Slick Deals tell you when prices for the items have dropped. And price comparison apps like Buy Via, Now Discount, ScanLife, and Shop Savvy can tell you if there's a better deal out there, online or even at a local store. While you're shopping, coupon apps such as Coupon Sherpa or Snip Snap offer discounts to use at checkout.
What do you think about this for Grandma?
Resources to help shoppers like Amy and Rachel really get all that they bargained for. For WISC News 3, I'm Leah Lynchide.
Get all that? All those apps?
A lot of that went over my head.
All those apps she's reeling off. Want price protection even after you shop? Well, those price adjustment apps continue to search the web. Just keep doing it right after you charge something, and then initiate a refund if prices drop on something you've already purchased.
But you may have to expose your bank and credit card information for the apps to work. So there's a trade-off there.
Yeah, always got to worry about that. So to come at 4, are you cooking this Thanksgiving, or do you need a dish to pass?
Well, our Donna Weihoffen continues her over a quarter-of-a-century tradition of making a Thanksgiving meal here on News 3. She has some new recipes for you to try, and we'll share them with you when Live at 4 continues.
Good afternoon. Here is your first alert traffic update, taking a live look at the interstate and Racine Street, also Wisconsin 11. You can see traffic not really moving. That's close to where that accident was. The accident's been cleared. However, there still is quite a bit of backup and delays in that neck of the woods in between kind of Harmony and south of Janesville. So keep that in mind if you're heading to Rock County over the next hour. You may encounter some of those delays. But across Dane County, we're looking pretty good. The Beltline, we're noticing those normal delays, especially right in the midsection there. Average speed of around 25 miles per hour eastbound, and westbound about 30 to 35 miles per hour. Here are your drive times. Verona Road to John Nolan, a little bit slow eastbound, as you might expect, 13 minutes with an average speed of around 20 miles per hour. And in the other direction of the Beltline, that same stretch, a little bit on the slow side, a couple of brake lights, 7 minutes, average speed of around 40 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic update.
All right, Dave, thank you. We've all been here after waking up unusually early. This little 2-year-old ended up falling asleep in a somewhat unusual position while waiting for lunch to be served at her home in Dubai. She sure is a sound sleeper, and that could be any of us this Thursday after our Thanksgiving feast.
Yeah, that's right, as is the tradition here on News Street. We turn to Donna Weihoffen for some traditional and somewhat non-traditional Thanksgiving recipes.
Susan and I paid a visit to Donna's kitchen yesterday, and boy, did it smell good. We're back in Donna's kitchen, 26th year.
26
Hard to
years
believe.
of
Donna,
turkeys.
we are thankful for you. This is such a special tradition. Thank you so much.
It is fun for me. It is really fun.
And the big news this year, everybody's talking about the salmonella scare.
They are, and that has to do with the raw turkey. And I think everybody needs to know that raw chicken and turkey is by nature, could be contaminated with salmonella. So this is not something new.
Any day of the week.
Any day of the week. But the good news is it's killed when you cook it. So if you just handle it carefully when it's raw, then you won't have any problems. But so if you're going to wash this in the sink, then you clean out the sink with bleach water, you wash your hands, put this in a pan, and don't contaminate any other food with it, and cook it. And once it's cooked, it's no problem.
160? What do we go for?
Well, between 165 and 180, depending upon the point in the turkey. Always put your thermometers in so that you can look at them as they cook. And then you can also check with my new toy. I have a new thermometer this year, and this is an Insta-Read, and you can put it in here, and in 30 seconds, it'll tell you what the temperature is. So.
I think a lot of people are scared. They hear this recall. And
Yeah, but you don't have to be scared. It is like completely killed. The salmonella is gone when it's cooked. So
as long as you do it properly, you should be okay.
As long as you cook, yes.
Okay.
And you got some onion in there?
I stuffed it with onion. No stuffing. We don't put the stuffing inside. And the reason is because it's so hard for that stuffing to get cooked in a reasonable amount of time. So it stays warm because it's insulated with this bird. And it doesn't get to 165 degrees in a safe amount of time.
And stuffing's easy, right?
Well, you know what? This is really easy. This is going to be heresy. I have a magazine called Cooks, and they did a study of different stuffing mixes. And they rated all the different stuffing mixes and said, stovetop stuffing was just as good as anybody's stuffing.
Wow, that's easy.
There you go.
If everybody's got their own stuffing recipe, and if they want to do that, that's fine. But if you want to cheat a little bit and don't tell anybody, stovetop stuffing.
Hide the box.
Guilt-free. Yes.
All right, what size do we have this year?
This year, my green beans, that's the green bean casserole, but it doesn't have the soup in it. I made my own sauce, so you need to taste that. It's a mushroom sauce made with onions and mushrooms and green beans, and then the topping can either be panko breadcrumbs, or if you want to, you can put the onions on top. But I'm saving, I don't know, I just think it's more homemade and it's more yummy just to have your own homemade dressing.
That's good.
Now, as it is with all of your sides, can you make this one ahead as well?
Totally made ahead. Now, I made this, and we're going to serve it on Thanksgiving Day. And I made the corn, and that's already done. And we're going to serve that on Thanksgiving Day. But I made a little one for you, so you don't
thank you.
So you don't get it.
This is so colorful. What is this? A little corn souffle?
Yes, it's peppers and corn.
I can smell the peppers.
Yeah. So it's red. Now, if you have kids, they may want just plain corn. So when I'm having the kids over on Friday, I think I'll have a can of corn on the side because some of them don't like the peppers and the onions. But as adults, we kind of like a little sauce.
No, it's good.
Yeah, that's delicious.
Yeah.
That would be really good for breakfast the next day, too.
Right, it's milk and eggs and peppers and corn. And again, you can bake it ahead and just rewarm it. You don't even have to do anything else. And then my make-ahead mashed potatoes.
They're world famous.
I put them on the crown dish here over here because yes. And the secret is a little bit of low-fat cream cheese and a little bit of sour cream and milk and beat it up and then just rewarm it.
And white pepper.
You remember the white pepper?
Yeah.
White pepper.
Makes a difference.
Yeah, it really does. I know. My kids who hardly have any spices in their cabinet do have white pepper in there.
All right, gravy.
Great. That's the gravy.
You saved this from last year.
Yes, Mark,
She saved her fat from last year.
So last year, this says, on the top it says, turkey broth, November 2017. So I put it in here, and then the fat's on the top. I'm going to take off the fat, and I'm going to make my gravy ahead of time, not at the last minute, with this broth. Then I'm going to take this broth from this year, and I'm going to put this in a jar. I could just put it in the jar, and the fat would stay on top. But if I did want to make it fat-free, I'd let the broth out and stop where the fat is, and I've got a complete fat-free gravy.
So that'll be next year.
That's going in the freezer for next year. All right, we can't leave without dessert.
I really like this dessert this year. It's an apple pie, and the secret ingredient is putting in a can of cranberry sauce. So the apples are cooked with the cranberries, and it has a streusel topping. I think it's better than a pie crust. It tastes more tasty.
Oh,
and
that's really good.
Yeah, it does. It's the combination of apples, and it couldn't be easier. I mean, it's super easy. And again, make that ahead. It'll stay for several days ahead of time.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, Donna.
Yes.
All the recipes online at channel3000.com.
They are.
We'll see you next year. Oh, we'll see you before that.
With the gravy.
That's right. We'll be right back. Well, everybody's looking into the skies and the roads for travel.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be that bad. We do have a couple of trouble spots and maybe a few flurries, a patch or two of freezing drizzle over the next couple of hours. It will be breezy out of the south and west, those winds at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. Temperatures are chilly as well, in the upper 20s for most of us, but it does feel a little bit closer to 20 degrees. Some of us feeling like it is in the teens. For tonight, we're mostly cloudy and breezy. Again, I can't rule out a couple of snowflakes. Really shouldn't impact our travel too much, if at all. Temperatures will fall into the 20s. And as we head into the day before Thanksgiving, temperatures are staying pretty chilly once again, but our highs should make it into the low 30s, right around the freezing mark. And then for Thanksgiving, I think those highs will be closer to the mid 30s with partly sunny skies. We're into the 40s for Friday and Saturday. However, we do have a chance of some rain showers, and then eventually some more snowflakes do come back.
Those winds today were rough.
Yeah, it really makes it feel a lot colder outside.
So maybe a wet Badger game on Saturday.
Possibly. We'll wait and see.
Okay. All right. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
Safe travels.
Yeah.
All right.
You too.
Thanks, Dave.
Coming up tomorrow here on Live at 4, speaking of the Badger game, retiring UW band director Mike Leckrone joins us as he prepares for his last home football game performance.
Yeah, that'll be a big one. And we go behind the wheel with Harvey Briggs, the all-new Volvo XC40 compact crossover. In today's final touch, some of New York's finest cabbies are showing off more than their driving skills.
It's the 2019 New York City Taxi Drivers Calendar. It offers 12 months of real-life city drivers in various states of dress or undress.
Not sure about that one.